Yeah, let's say good afternoon, everyone. And let's continue our part 4, sex and gender. This morning we finished part 1, we finished section 1. Yeah. So now we continue to section 2. Theory, theoretical perspective on gender. Theory, theoretical perspective on gender. The word theoretical, I mean conceptual. The word perspective, I mean a view or prospect. You can say expectation in gender. Section preview of section 2. The functionalist perspective, the functionalist perspective focuses on the origin of gender differences. Yeah. The functionalist perspective focuses on the origin of gender differences. The functionalist perspective sees, slideshow, sorry. The functionalist perspective sees society as a complex system whose parts work together to promote solidarity and stability. And one more point, conflict theory looks at the reason gender differences continue to exist. Yeah, I mean, look at the reason gender differences continue to happen or to occur, right? I mean, it exists here. What conflict theory are the perspectives in sociology and social psychology that emphasize a materialist interpretation of history. Conflict theory are the perspectives in sociology and social psychology that emphasize a materialist interpretation of history. One more point, symbolic interactionism. Symbolic interactionism attempts to explain the ways in which gender is acquired. Attempts to explain the way in which gender is acquired. Yes, symbolic interactionism. It means the view of social behavior that emphasize linguistic or gestural communication. Yes, again, symbolic interactionism. It means the view of social behavior that emphasize linguistic or gestural communication. Gestural communication. One more point. Functionalism and gender. Functionalism, functionalism is a theory about the nature, a theory about the nature of mental states. Yeah. Let's say again, functionalism is a theory about the nature of mental state. According to functionalism, mental states are identified by what they do rather than what they are made of. Here again, functionalism is a theory about the nature of mental states. According to functionalism, mental states are identified by what they do rather than by what they are made of. Yeah. Any behavior that does not help society will become unimportant. Yeah. Any behavior that does not help society, any behavior that does not help society will become unimportant, not important. Division of male and female role help society. Yeah, division means divide, eh? And separate of male and female roles help society. Yeah, to help society. Functionalism and gender. Continue. Men were larger and muscular. Yeah. Men were larger and muscular, but were also expendable. Were larger and muscular, but were also expendable. The word muscular means having well-developed muscle. Yeah. Having well-developed muscle, but were also expendable. Yeah, expendable mean non-essential, not important. Yeah, not important, or you can say unimportant here. Women were much more vital to groups' chances. Yeah, women were much more vital to groups' chances of survival. The word vital means essential, important, right? Important to the group. Chance. Survival, it means the state of fact or continuing to live or continuing to live or continuing to exist or occur or happen, right? One more point. Conflict and gender. Conflict and gender in here mean prevent women, yeah, like husband prevent or protect wife, yeah, in a family, in the world or in the society. And mean prevent women from gaining influence to sustain their status. Yeah, the word sustain, you have husband prevent women from gaining influence to sustain. Sustain means to encourage. Yeah, a husband to encourage has to encourage a wife, yeah, or to assist or to comfort a wife. That's the test. Gender roles are outdated. Yeah, gender roles are outdated mean out of date. Right? Out of date mean out of date. Marrying and having female families later have allowed women to enter the workforce. Yeah, when the man, the woman, when a woman married, get married and have has a family, and they have allowed them to enter the workforce. The enter here mean begin to be involved, yeah, begin to be involved with other women. And the workforce in here mean the people engaged in or available for work or available for work. One more point, talk about symbolic interactionism. Yes, symbolic interactionism and gender. Focus is on gender socialization. Sorry. Symbolic interactionism and gender focus is on gender socialization. How boys and girls learn how to act. How boys and girls learn how to act. Gender socialization is the process through which children learn about the social expectations, attitudes, and behaviors typically associated with boys and girls. And in here, gender socialization, I mean, talk about the boy and talk about the action of boy and girl. Example, parents, I mean, talk about who has to support the children and take care or look after the children. Peers, yeah, the word peers here means a person who is the same age, has the same social position, has the same ability. The teacher who is the teacher or educated student. What media it means the main means of mass communication. The main means of mass communication. And let's continue one more point. The role of parents. The role of parents. It means transfer value and attitude. Yeah, how to transfer the value and attitude regarding how boys and girls should behave. Yeah, when a boy and a girl behave their action, I mean, they can transfer their value and attitude to other. Toys given. I mean, role of parent have to use toy given to each sex. I mean, to show, yeah, to show the sex, male or female, to their children. Infant girls are handled more gently. What infant girl? I mean, infant. I mean, a very young girl or a very young baby. A handle. What handle mean? Hold, pick up more gently, softly, or gentle manner. Boys are often given more masculine choice. The boys are often given more masculine choice. The word masculine means having quality or appearance. Choice in me, or you can say masculine, having a quality or appearance, or masculine talk about all the male or masculine. Choice in here mean sorry. Choice in here is a routine task or routine works, especially a household one. Role of school. Yeah, after we finish role of parent, we talk about role of school. Yeah, role of parent, role of school. When the teachers encourage different behavior from boys and girls, girl may be taught to be passive. Yeah, Teachers have to encourage the different behavior from boys and girls. A girl may be taught to be passive. Passive means unassertive. Yeah, unassertive. In here, boys were expected to be assertive. Yeah, boys were expected to be assertive, but girl may be taught to be passive. Passive in here means unassertive. Yeah, the word assertive it means having or showing a confident and forceful personality. Yeah, mean teach all the boys and girls how to be how to show or how to have a confident and forceful personality. Yeah, personality. Uh, After role of school, role of parent, role of school, and then we continue to role of peers. Yeah, peer acceptance. Peer acceptance or rejection greatly impacts self-concept. Yeah, peer acceptance or rejection greatly impact. Greatly impact I mean greatly affect self-concept. I mean the own idea, self-concept, or you can say the own idea. Respect is given to those who most closely mirror traditional gender roles. Respect is given to those who most closely mirror traditional gender roles. And those who go against traditional role are labeled. The word against in opposition to, right? It means how to react. Traditional role are labeled. Label means classify or rank in classes or categories. Yeah, in here, I mean the role of a peer, talk about role acceptance or rejection, clearly affect self-concept or own idea. Respect is given to those who most closely more. I mean, who has who always uh, respect, right? Respect the traditional, and those who go against traditional role are labeled. If someone or if a person who go against traditional role classified or are arranged in the classes or categories. Section 3. Yeah, we finished section 2. Now continue to section 3 in this afternoon. Section 3 talk about gender inequality. Gender inequality. So now we talk about, I present you a section preview of section 3. Yeah, in here, section preview, when I start all this sentence, I will introduce you some vocabularies. Subject here, yeah, subject here in this topic, it is a person, yeah, it is a person that is being, yeah. Subject is a person that is being discussed or described or deal with. Prejudice. Prejudice means preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. The word discrimination. Discrimination, I mean prejudice or distinction. Distinction. The word imbalance. Imbalance, it means lack of proportion or relation between corresponding things. Or relation between corresponding things. Yeah. In this slide, I have to explain only these vocabularies. Yeah. And then, although great progress has been made, women today are still subject. Yeah. Although great progress, yeah. Although nowadays they always change, yeah, they always progress. Yeah. What we have to change from the previous time to nowadays. But women today are still subject to prejudice and discrimination. This imbalance of power is seen most clearly in the area of economic, law, and politics. Law and politics. But now we talk about women as a minority. Minority means it's a small group. Women as a small group. Women as a minority. Biological determinism. Yeah, it is in the previous slide, but I want to tell you again. Biological determinism is the belief that behavioral differences are the result of physical differences. But in here, it has led to racism as well as sexism. Racism in here talk about prejudice or discrimination. Word sexism are the same. Yeah? Prejudice or discrimination. or you can say sexism is against women on the basis of sex. On the basis of sex. Sexist ideology justify male social leadership position. The word sexist means is characterized by or showing prejudice or discrimination. The ideology, it means the science of ideas. Yeah, the science of idea. The ideology is the science of idea or the study of their origin and nature. Their origin and nature. Justify means show or prove to be right or reasonable or reasonable. One continue to one more point. Oh sorry, one more sentence. While women are gaining ground in society, why inequality gap exists? Yeah, when women are gaining again around in the society, why inequality? Yeah, the inequality has to always happen or occur in our society. Occupational inequality. Now we talk about inequality of occupation. Uh, Occupational talk about work or employment. Yeah. Inequality of employment, inequality of work. Over the last 30 years, yeah, the last 30 years, in the past, women in the workforce have increased significantly. Yeah. Has women in the workforce, yeah, have increased. I mean, it have increment up, no degree mean down. Significant for 46% of workforce. Okay, I mean women in the workforce have increased significantly 46% of workforce. And one more point, occupational segregation. Yeah, the word occupational segregation, it means the concentration of women in low status position. Yeah, it means the concentration of women in low status position. Occupational segregation has kept most of these women at low status occupation. Women rarely hold, yeah, I mean rarely hold or rarely work in a high status position in the business world. Yeah, in the business world, they just let the women to keep or they work or to work in a low status occupation. One more point talk about economic inequality. When we see economic, talk about financial inequality of financial. In 1990s, when women can earn only $75 to every $100 of min. It means men can earn $100, but women can only $75. Gap has closed from 60 in 1980. Yeah, from 1980, the women can earn from start from close from $60. This trend exists across all occupation, even traditional female job. Yeah, even all the occupation of traditional female job, this trend here means a general direction in which thing is changing. Yeah, it means everything have to is a general direction in which is changing or is movement. It is movement. Yeah, it exists across all occupation. Yeah, all occupation, even traditionally female job. Worldwide, we mean almost always earn less. Yeah, in the world, we mean almost always earn less, except in Australia. Yeah. Except only Australia, that the women can earn more than the other country. One more point talk about legal inequality. Legal I mean talk about appointed or acquired by the law. A biases exist in some state laws. The word bias it means inclination or prejudice for and against prejudice for or against one person or groups. Yeah. And exist in some state law. There are 2 points: health benefits for pregnancy. Yeah, you understand health benefit for pregnancy and for the women. Refusal to keep surname or last name. Refusal means an act of refusing to do something or non-acceptance. And non-acceptance to keep surname or last name. And one more point about legal inequality as well. Protective legislation to limit work hour, workload in the Civil Rights Act. The word legislation mean lawmaking, mean how to protect the lawmaking to limit work hour or workload in the Civil Rights Act. And Civil Rights Act here means is a landmark civil rights and labor law in the United States that outlaws discrimination based on race, color, religion, such on national origin. Women are more likely to miss work than men, which lead to hiring bias. Women are more likely to miss work than men, which leads to hiring bias. The word hiring here, the word hiring means obtain the temporary use of something for an agreed payment. The last point talk about political inequality. Political talking is relating to the government or public affair of a country. Political relating to the government or public affairs of a country. The number of women in elective position, governor, legislator has been growing. Yeah, only in the governor, only the position of governor or legislator, the women has been growing in elective. The word elective means working by means of election. Yeah, by election, or the women's always get the position of in the governor or legislator, by election. The word governor means an official appointed to govern a town or region. Legislator means a person who makes laws. Both of the position, the women always get it from the election. Make up 50% of population. Yeah, make up 50% of population. Yeah, the women make up 50% of population, but 30% of House of Representative and 9% of Senate. Yes, 13 of House of Representative. In here, I mean representative is a person chosen or appointed to act or speak for another or others. And what Senate? Senate is the state council of the nation. The state council of the nation. The Senate in here in Khmer means Prithsabha. And one more point, low percentage of women in appointed position. Both the first point and second point, women are in the high position, or in you can say high status, But in the last point, low percentage of women in appointed position are cabinet and judge. What cabinet means counselor, or in Khmer you can say judge, lawyer, or you can say judge, lawyer, one more word, lawyer, judge, and court, oh sorry, C-O-U-R-T, court, judge, court, or lawyer. Yeah, this is in section 3. We finished section 2 and section 3, but in section 4 and 5 we will continue in the on Sunday morning, section 4 and 5.